The ocean is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. But in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, there is said to be a ship that drifts through the fog. A ship that never appears on radar, never exists on any map, and once you step aboard it, you never come back. People call it the Ghost Cruise Ship. Just a few months ago, 6 tourists accidentally boarded that ship. 12 hours later, after the Coast Guard searched the entire ocean, they found only one survivor. But after being rescued, he kept repeating just one sentence. "Stop the clock, please! Stop the clock." The sun is setting. Golden light reflects across a massive luxury cruise ship. Thousands of passengers are laughing, taking photos. Music fills the air. Everything feels like a dream. Among the passengers are Ethan, a former naval officer; Sarah, a doctor; Liam, a famous travel vlogger; Ava, a quiet, mysterious young woman; Mia, a 10-year-old girl; and an elderly man who had been acting strangely from the very beginning. Before the ship even departed, he warned everyone, "If you see fog after midnight, never go out onto the deck." Everyone laughed and ignored him. As night falls, the party continues. Suddenly, the captain's voice echoes through the speakers. "Attention all passengers, please remain calm." Before he can finish, the entire ship violently shakes. Every light goes out. Complete darkness. A few seconds later, the emergency red lights flicker on. Panic spreads through the ship. But something feels wrong. The ocean is perfectly still. Not a single wave. A silence so deep, it feels as if no one else on Earth is alive. Ethan walks onto the deck. In front of him, a wall of thick white fog, so dense he can barely see his own hand. Then, slowly, another enormous ship emerges from the mist. Ancient, broken, covered in rust. Every window is dark, except one. A little girl stands behind the glass. She slowly waves, as if inviting someone to come closer. Ethan takes a few careful steps forward. Suddenly, the girl's face changes. Her eyes turn completely black. A long, unnatural smile stretches across her face. And then, in a single second, she disappears. At that exact moment, every clock on the ship strikes 12:00 a.m. Then, every clock stops. Every phone freezes at 12:00. No one can make a call. The GPS is dead. The internet is gone. The radio repeats only one terrifying message. "Don't let them in!" No one understands. Who are they? Then, a horrifying scream erupts from the lower deck. Everyone runs downstairs, but when they arrive, their blood runs cold. Lying on the floor is the old man's walking cane, but the old man is gone. And on the wall, written in blood, are only 3 words. Everyone rushed to the lower deck corridor in search of the old man. The corridor was unnaturally cold. Water was dripping down the walls, but that water was red, like blood. Liam turned on his camera. He said, "Everything is being recorded. If we don't make it out alive, at least someone will know the truth." Just then, at the end of the corridor, a figure appeared standing there. A white uniform, an old captain's hat on his head. The man slowly raised his head. He had no eyes, only empty black holes. Within a second, he disappeared. And immediately, a passenger standing beside Sarah suddenly screamed. It looked like an invisible force was pulling him away. He was thrown against the wall. And then, silence. Within just a few seconds, he was dead. Everyone started running in panic. Suddenly, a powerful white light covered the entire ship. Ethan opened his eyes. He was lying inside his cabin. Outside the window, the afternoon sun was shining again. The speaker announced, "Welcome aboard the Ocean Queen." Ethan rushed outside. Everything was normal. People were laughing. The party was going on. And the passenger who had died only minutes ago was walking around like nothing happened. Ethan's heart sank. Then, was everything that happened just a dream? When Ethan came to the deck, he saw Eva staring silently at the ocean. She whispered, "This isn't a dream." Ethan was shocked. Eva said, "We are living the same day again and again. Every night at exactly 12 o'clock, someone dies. Then time resets back to the morning." Ethan asked, "How do you know?" Eva slowly rolled up her sleeve. On her arm, carved with a knife, were the words, "Loop 27. Ethan's face went pale. Ava said. This is our 27th time. Liam opened the camera memory. Today's video should have been there, but instead, there were 27 separate folders. Each folder contained the same day, the same people, the same events. But every time a different person died. In the final video, the camera suddenly turned around, and there they saw hundreds of people standing on the ship's deck. Their faces were pale. Their eyes were completely black. Together, they repeated only one sentence. One must stay. Someone must remain behind. Ethan and Sarah entered the captain's cabin. Covered in dust, they found an old diary. The first page said, 1976. A terrible storm is coming tonight. The ship will not survive, but I will not let anyone die, even if I have to sell my soul for it. On the last page of the diary, there was only one sentence. Written in blood. The ship survived, but none of us did. Night fell again. Everyone decided they would escape using the lifeboats before midnight. The clock showed 7:59. Everyone got into the boats. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. Then, the ship's horn blasted so loudly that everyone covered their ears. The clock showed Guadalquivir. The ocean fog slowly disappeared, and ahead of them appeared not one, not two, but hundreds of ghostly cruise ships, all moving toward them at the same time. And one after another, ships started emerging from the mist. All of them were old. Broken, dark. Ethan stared at them in shock. He couldn't understand. Were these really ships, or were they floating graves of the dead? Suddenly, a man stepped out from one of the ships and slowly walked toward them. He was wearing an old captain's uniform. In his hand was an ancient clock. He looked at them and said, "You have tried 27 times. You have failed 27 times. Because you still haven't understood, not everyone can escape from this ship." The captain took everyone to his cabin. Old photographs were hanging on the walls. One picture showed Ocean Queen, mid-1976. Thousands of passengers were standing on the deck. But below the picture, there was a message written, "Lost forever." The captain said, 50 years ago, this ship was caught in a terrible storm. I tried to save everyone, but I failed. At the final moment, I prayed to the ocean to save this ship at any cost. The ocean listened to my prayer, but in return, it demanded one soul. Sarah looked at him in disbelief. Then why us? The captain slowly replied, because all of you came to the ship for the same reason. Everyone became silent. Then the captain pulled out an old list. Their names were written on it, but the dates were from 50 years ago. Ethan's eyes widened. Impossible. We are people from today, Ava slowly whispered. No, Ethan. None of us are alive. Suddenly, the ship started shaking violently. Ghostly passengers appeared from the darkness. Their eyes were empty. Together they whispered, one must stay, one person must remain here. Water began rising around the ship. Time was running out. Liam shouted, if one of us dies, will everything finally end? The captain looked at him and said, no. Only the person who chooses to stay willingly can break the curse. Everyone looked at each other. No one spoke. Then suddenly, Ava stepped forward. Ethan grabbed her hand. No, you can't do this. Ava smiled softly. Someone has to. I have tried many times. Every time I tried to save you all, I returned to the same night again. Maybe this is my final loop. She looked at Mia. You will survive. You will take our story outside. Ava placed her hand on the captain's hand. Suddenly, the entire ship began shaking. The ghosts started screaming. The clocks began moving again. 12:01, 12:02. For the first time, time was moving forward. The fog started disappearing. Sunlight appeared through the clouds. A few hours later, the Coast Guard found a small boat drifting in the ocean. Inside were Ethan, Sarah, Liam, and Mia, but there was no sign of Eva. They believed it was finally over. A few days later, Liam was watching the last video recorded by his camera. In the footage, while they were getting into the rescue boat, something appeared in the distance. Standing inside the fog was the Ocean Queen, and on its deck, Ava was standing there. But this time, she was not alone. Beside her stood hundreds of freed souls. Ava looked directly into the camera and whispered, "Don't let them find this ship." Then, the ship disappeared back into the fog. Some ships never sink. They only wait for their next passengers. The end.